We're here for you, America. This is the post-lost to Belgium US men's national team support group. We're going to start with my friend Rog here. I've never seen you so devastated in my life. But I'm telling you, positive, I'm telling you right now what we're going to do over the next 30 to 45 minutes. Rog.
Give me a cuddle.
I'm going to give you a cuddle right now. I'm going to give you a cuddle right now.
Do you know how sad I am? I'm this sad.
You're that sad.
Yeah. Even in agony, though, Dave.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you.
I love football.
I love football so much.
And I love America.
I love America
I
too.
love America.
I love America. What we're going to do, Rog, for the next 30 to 45 minutes is we are going to... We were going to talk honestly about what went wrong.
Are you happy now, Coulter?
We are. Yeah, we're going to talk...
Are you happy?
We're going to talk honestly about what went on. But we're also going to take the positive, Rog, and we're going to move forward. Soccer, football, is forever changed in America. You live in a new country now. Rog, you and I haven't even been to that new country yet because we've been down here in Bob Lee's panic room.
Well, like Moses in the Bible, we may never be allowed into the promised land. We may never get there. We may have to die in the mountains.
In the Bible.
That's what it feels like tonight. We may be sent to the mountains to die.
We're going to go back to a new country, Rog, and we're going to talk about what is going to happen in the future under this amazing manager.
Flying cars, Dave.
Under this
amazing
flying
cars.
Manager, Rog. This amazing manager.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about what's going to happen in the future in American soccer and the signs we clearly see today in the good book, that is the United States' narrow 2-1 loss against Belgium.
Fala Margulis. All things must die, Davo.
The day started. Oh, here come the bananas.
Yeah,
Rog,
the day started. Thank you.
The day started.
Come here, Wando.
Wando.
Wando, what is your name? Look at the camera. Shout your name.
Look at the camera. Shout your name.
My name is Roger Mason.
No, your name is...
My name is Chris Wondolowski.
He is the best soccer-playing Chris Wondolowski in America. The best.
He's a hard worker.
He's the best Chris Wondolowski who can play football in America. Unfortunately, we had him here and not on the field.
Wando would have finished that chance.
Wando would have finished it.
But, Rog, two things happened today that were, one would say...
bad.
Troubling signs.
Troubling signs.
All we've been experiencing since we've been in Brazil are what, Rog?
Tiny bananas.
Tiny bananas. I mean, the tiniest bananas you could imagine. Imagine a tiny banana and then cut that in half. That's how tiny the bananas are here in Brazil.
I've seen the tiny bananas.
Okay, but for new viewers, Rog, tiny bananas. Today, what happens at breakfast? That's like a regular-sized banana, Rog. And one might even say a large banana.
It's puzzled me all day.
Yeah.
All day. I didn't know it was a sign, but I didn't know what it meant.
Second bad sign, Rog.
Beckham not starting.
What I was going to mention is that I got a call from the hotel at 9:30 this morning to tell me I was evicted from my hotel room.
Yep.
That our employers, ESPN, have done an amazing job with this World Cup, Rog. Sort fit to have me leave my hotel room today. So, two bad signs to start the day.
Dave out, large bananas, and then a third Dave out.
Yeah.
Because the World Cup is bigger than us, ultimately.
It is much bigger.
Not that much bigger.
Yeah.
But it is bigger than us.
Yeah.
And when Klinsmann dropped Buffalo Soldier.
Yeah.
Saving him for the final. I think ultimately he realised that hair battle up against Klinsmann realised that Buffalo Soldier, Kyle Beckerman, going up against two Afro midfielders, the great Witzel and the slightly confused monobrow of Marouane Fellaini.
You're so right. He'd lost the hair battle before he went in. He wasn't going to win it. It was going to be 1 against 2 all day.
At Rob Schatzman.
Sacrifice him.
Suggested at Men in Blazers, Beckerman not starting. Must be a pattern as a decoy ahead of D-Day Eisenhower deception move. It proved not to be.
Yeah.
I mean, within a minute, Origi ghosted past Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Added £5 million to his transfer fee.
Yeah.
And we watched a first-half performance, Dave, out that was just not in the face. It was, suddenly we looked like what we were, a patchwork team, where a defensive midfielder, M. Bradley, was playing as our playmaker. We had a attacking midfielder, Clint Dempsey, playing as our striker. We had a chance in the first half.
Yeah.
the Dempsey shot off Bradley. That was our chance. But apart from that, it was just literally Fabian Johnson getting into Vertonghen's head. Yeah,
he looked dangerous down the right. Vertonghen looked very, very unhappy with playing him until Fabian Johnson pulled up. That was the main threat. Look, this is not for the first time in this tournoi, Rog. It was a distinct lack of possession.
Yeah.
Very little possession. Now,
World Cup of hamstrings.
It's not easy to get a lot of possession, particularly not against a team who basically have 5 in the midfield, Rog, who are all phenomenal footballers. They're phenomenal passers.
Cunning Belgians. They're cunning smalls.
Oh, Mertens is such a cunning
small. They're siege gun tools. They just out-cunninged us.
Yeah,
out-cunning us. They tore us apart. They toyed with us.
A little bit. But
Michael Bradley coming the other way was wonderful, I thought, at times, but tentative. I have never seen him dish the ball off so much on the edge of the area. Normally he'd penetrate. The Michael Bradley I know penetrates, crushes.
Yeah.
Goes in towards the hole, but instead he was just dishing it off. We were kind of listless going forward. They were out-cunningness us.
Yeah. We were watching with Steve McManaman, Rog, Julie Foudy, Mike Tirico, Ruud van Nistelrooy. Bunch of people in that room.
Happy birthday, Ruud.
Happy birthday, Ruud van Nistelrooy. We had a little bit of cake at half-time. And it was interesting. What Ruud and McManaman were both saying is how much space we kept on giving up to the Belgians.
It was two crap teams. We were giving them space, and Belgium couldn't take advantage of it.
Yeah.
We were clinging on for dear life. Honestly, getting to the half-time 0-0, it was like victory in my mind.
Well, we won the arm folding in the warm-ups, in the green screen. We bossed the arm folding.
The Americans are very
many
good
of
at
the European teams
are going. Know what to do with their hands.
They're going for 2
inside,
in.
outside.
Why would you ever put 2 in when you're folding your arms? The US go 1 out, 1 in. That's the way to. And with the turn, that's the way you go for the arm folding. We bossed the arm folding, but even in the opening, Rog, you look down the substitutes bench of Belgium, and you looked at those players down there, and you just thought, wow, they're good. They are good.
You kept trying to think what was going on in Jurgen's head, and the only thing I could think of was him being like, maybe, just maybe, I can substitute myself in.
Yeah.
That would have been probably preferable to what did occur. It was honestly, it was like watching the Battle of Endor with the little Ewoks, cuddly little Ewoks, trying their best, trying their hardest, and I knew they won that one.
However,
but that's what it looked like to me, David.
There were some good performances, though. I thought so Fabian Johnson was great. DeAndre Yedlin came on. At one point, Ian Dark said, what a confident boy he seems to be, this DeAndre Yedlin.
Yeah,
I love that.
By the way, so many negative haters in this kind of football world of ours. Not the newcomers, jolly, joyous, wonderful human beings you are.
Go back and check the Twitter timelines of many of the people who you follow.
Rewind the tape. Get into your George Michael sports machine and just go back.
Go back.
What is the Yedlin doing in the team? What is Julian Green doing in the team? What are we doing? What does Klinsmann know? I kind of do feel, even in a loss,
he's been vindicated. Jurgen has been so thoroughly vindicated, I believe.
Who are these German Americans? They're called our goal scorers.
Yeah.
They're the guys who can actually open up more bases. I don't like war. And we're not for war.
We're not for war.
Anti-war.
We're anti-war. However, we are pro-bases.
Yeah.
We are
pro-bases in
military
Germany.
Bases. Or maybe Belgium. How about Belgium? Seems like there could be some conflict up in the Low Countries, Rog. We should put some bases there.
But at half-time, I did do a little to make myself feel better, because I have to say my spirits were crushed. There was very little optimism to be found. I went to Sinclair Lewis. Intellectually, I know America's no better than any other country at football. I inserted there myself. Emotionally, I know she is better than every other country at football. I inserted that bit myself. Made me feel a little bit better. I'll tell you what else made me feel good.
There is no physically fitter, mentally tougher team in world football than the United States men's national team.
But more than that,
believe that,
off the field, every time the cameras cut to Kansas City or Soldier Field, Chicago, full of Americans.
We're going back to a new country, Rob.
Or Texas. In Dallas, the stadium full of individuals wanting to commune and watch this game. It took the pressure off for me. It took the edge off, Davo, because I said to myself at half-time, whatever the score, Davo, we've won. We've won this, and it's a slight sidebar. But in the past, the US team have qualified for this World Cup by playing games in amazing cities, but places like Salt Lake, places like Denver,
Birmingham, Jacksonville.
places anywhere where they could play in stadia where they could essentially get a home crowd.
Nothing against those cities. We like those cities. We love
in
those
Columbus,
places.
Ohio, you have done
We
a
love those
service to
places.
this nation more than any other city in a footballing sense. But to me, watching those huge crowds, this is a vendor punct in your
There's
word,
been a
David.
sense, I think there's been a sense that US soccer couldn't rely on hometown support in big cities like Chicago and New York and Los Angeles, San Francisco, Boston. We know we can.
We see
know
the
we can.
dawning of an era where there is a
Of the age
Team
of
America,
Aquarius.
Club America, whatever it is, where they get the tickets into the hands of the home supporters.
Yes.
But play in massive stadia for their qualifying.
US soccer, American Outlaws.
Bottomless
We're going to
passion.
get together
Bottomless
for
passion.
a powwow, and we're going to go and figure this out, I'm pretty sure.
But the second half, the adjustment Klinsmann seemed to make was, he seemed to, and I don't know how you felt, he seemed to have told his team to not touch the ball in an intelligent way whatsoever in the opponent's half. It was very much a not in the face.
There was
start.
a lot of there was more concession of possession, but I think also Belgium came out probably having had a good rollicking. I don't know what rollicking is in Flemish. It's probably
from the bull of
or
Dongelberg.
French.
You do not want to be rollicked by the
probably
bull of Dongelberg.
rollicking.
You do not want the war pig to give you the rollicking.
Yeah.
Ian Dart was attempting to misdirect our pain. God love
Yeah.
him. He was like a great host at a dinner party.
Yeah.
The US were getting battered, so he started to talk about floodlight robbery.
Yeah.
Then he threw out the misdirection of Toby Adelwald having a
Yeah.
tattoo of Antwerp Cathedral
That
quote,
is a
on his
crap-
person.
That
on
is a
his
crap
person.
tattoo, wherever he has it.
Wherever the
that is
person
a
is.
crap tattoo. Antwerp Cathedral.
But we couldn't keep the
Oh,
ball.
how Belgian is that? Having a tattoo of Antwerp Cathedral.
Possibly
If
the most
we made
Belgian
that
thing in the
up,
world.
nobody would believe
Yeah.
that was. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just ridiculous.
FIFA writers.
Oh,
The
Antwerp
more
Cathedral.
we lost control of the ball, Davo, the more
Yeah.
I needed a cuddle.
Yeah.
It was like watching George McFly fight Biff in Back to the Future. It was like
Yeah.
watching Wesley fight Fezzik in Princess Bride.
Yeah.
But one man stood tall, Davo. One man stood
Tim
tall.
Howard.
Over and over and over.
178 saves in
At
a game.
least.
I believe that's a World Cup record
At
dating
least.
back to 1436.
America, take our advice. Go and have a baby tonight and call it Tim Howard.
Yeah.
That's what will save the future of the
Yeah.
US football team. What a man, Davo. What a performance.
Amazing. And not just the saves. It's that at every point, he is. I know he's not the captain of this team, but I can't help feeling he's the captain of this team, Rog. His leadership, his encouragement, his positivity, even when those in front of them were making mistakes, which happened quite a lot, his positivity, I loved it, Rog.
Yeah.
I loved that performance.
Howard Stern,
Yeah,
Howard Cunningham, Howard End,
yeah.
Howard Jones,
Oh, we love Howard Jones.
Howard Zinn,
Yeah.
Tim Howard, above all of them, Davo, tonight.
Catherine Howard, third wife of Henry VIII, above her.
At Bobby Bush.
Yeah.
Tim Howard has saved the US tonight more than Dwight D. Eisenhower, Douglas MacArthur, and Superman combined. That is not hyperbolic. We don't
Yeah.
like.
One should say,
Hyperbolicism.
because we're going to be, what's going to mark the US as different from other countries, we're going to be generous in defeat also, Rog, and we're going to talk about some of the performances on the other side of the ball. I felt through the first half, Vincent, oh, here he is. Here he is. Stand.
Let us stand for a
at
great
home,
American.
Stand for a great American, please. Ladies and gentlemen, the General, Bob Lee.
Gentlemen,
Describe
Gentlemen.
your feelings
We've
right
not
now
seen,
to America,
We've
Bob.
not seen Bob yet. We've not seen Bob.
Give us a cuddle, Bob.
I don't...
we could all use a group cuddle right now, couldn't
Oh,
we?
Bob, that feels good.
Spent.
Just going to
I'm
suck
spent.
spent.
As I said on the air, spent and proud.
Yeah.
Just
Is that
suckling.
what you just said? Spent
yeah.
and proud.
120 minutes to leave you spent and proud.
Yeah.
Players, fans, everyone.
Yeah. And how about Jurgen, I would say. I feel that Jurgen comes out of this with some credit.
DeAndre Yedlin.
Vindicated,
Julian
vindicated.
Green, absolutely. As I said, he plucked these players out of their youth, out of their obscurity. Julian
Yeah.
Green's first touch of the ball. We were joking in the studio.
That was
Gee,
amazing.
watching it at 2-0, saying, "Oh, maybe not." And then, of course, Julian was just getting up, I think, to warm up when the second goal
Yeah.
went in. Actually,
Yeah.
but what Yedlin did, who has yet, by the way, to start for the national team.
Yeah.
And of course, what Howard did will live forever.
Yeah.
It just will.
Think
but,
how
you know,
good. Think how good Julian Green will be when he goes through puberty, Bob.
He'll be
Yeah.
amazing. He
He'll
will
be-
be amazing.
he'll be
No,
amazing.
Julie Foudy said,
Optimism.
Yeah.
it's just the kind of outrageous thing that Jurgen will do is he'll stick on Julian Green. And he does it, and he believes in him. And Julian obviously is trained, waiting
Yeah.
for this moment. First touch into the back of the net. Just look at some of the basis on which we can build a future American team. Under Klinsmann, you look at DeAndre, You look at Julian. Just look at, you know what, Omar Gonzalez. I thought he came in, and on the whole, I thought Omar Gonzalez had another good game.
Had lost his place in the team, had a crisis of confidence, had that error out in Phoenix against Mexico.
Injury.
And was injured, but also I think there was a crisis. Had lost his place, I think, even before the injury.
Absolutely.
Comes back, reclaims his place in the lineup.
Yeah.
Puts Jeff Cameron, Klinsman does, puts Cameron out there tonight, and has a fairly good match.
Yeah.
And of course, Jeff had to have on his mind.
Obviously, Fabian, phenomenal performance. John
and
Brooks.
that was a
By the way,
critical. That was a critical loss.
Besler bar one slip.
Bar that slip for the
slip
Lukaku
was
goal.
a phenomenal performance. And by the way, Lukaku did what Lukaku has done when he was at West Brom. Anyone
We've
who watched
seen that
them,
goal.
when he was at West Brom, anyone who watched them, they'd put a man called Shane Long on for 80 minutes. He would exhaust defenders, and then they'd be like, Shane, get off. Romelu Lukaku go on. He'd go on for the last 10 minutes, and against an exhausted defence, he would physically batter them, and that's what he did to the US today.
Great point.
Very upsetting. Let me ask you one question, Bob, because we're looking at inner mindsets. We talked about Klinsmann, we talked about the youth, but we've got to talk about the miss, the Wando miss in the 93rd minute.
That hurts. It's something that will be there forever.
Off the hosel. We should say off the hosel. Golfers know what I'm talking about.
Just as the clock clicked over to the final minute of stoppage time. And can you imagine had that gone in? But what ifs? And as I said also when I threw it back to Ian, I think for the beginning of extra time, I said that feeling in your stomach, it's called the World Cup. I mean, you're scoreless after 90, and that's what it is.
The 93rd minute has not been good to the US.
No,
World
twice.
Well, 3 times now. The Wando miss, Ghana in 2010, that's when they scored, and then Belgium in the 93rd minute in injury time. In extra time, they go and stick one in.
So the 93rd minute, I think about Simba in The Lion King, thinking that he caused his father's death. Simba, you didn't. I know you're watching.
Yeah.
I think about Christopher Walken, haunted in The Deer Hunter.
Yeah.
I wonder how often Wando will sit at home in San Jose and think and be haunted by that miss.
There was a shot, I think it was at Game's End. It may have been at the end of the first extra time. I think it was Aaron Johansson made a point. It might have been Game's End. Made a point to get him. And you've spent a lot more time inside that team, but I've been around him a little. I mean, I think you get the sense there's going to be a lot of support for him.
Although, I think what Jurgen would say, not tonight, probably to Wando, but I think what Jurgen would say is that he wants this US team to get to a point where when they go out to a coffee shop or to a restaurant, that people will give their players a hard time about misses and things that happen. And I actually think the pain that we're feeling about this loss is ultimately constructive for the growth of American soccer. This hurts more than 2010.
Oh, undoubtedly. And I the few moments I had to, I know you guys live on Twitter. You can put it right in the vein. I had a few moments tonight early in the second half just to see things that had been tweeted. And I think it was the New England Revolution and the AOs out of Boston tweeted a picture of Boston. Crowd. I mean, but I hear anecdotally.
Respect.
We're here, and a lot of people I think are envious that we're here in Brazil. I know you guys have had a chance to go to a match or two. I'm hoping maybe to do the same, but people are envious of our position here. But we don't have an understanding emotionally and intellectually of what's going on. I got a note today from a buddy of mine who's lived in Washington, D.C. for 20 years. The streets are closed, people are banging horns, they're displaying flags. So what it means to us to see those pictures here, it's remarkable.
We're going home to a new country, Bob. We're going home to a new country. We've not lived in that country before.
No,
I'm excited. I wanted to live in a new country.
I expect to see people with backpacks on Atlanta flight, cars that just instantly get to wherever you want without drivers, robots driving them, and Americans that love football. It's the country of the future that we've dreamed about so much.
I just want a 10-second time machine. Just a time machine that will go back 10 seconds, Rog. I could create the greatest game show in the history of the world if I could create that.
Bob,
we could give it to Wondolowski.
Can we ask you, just give us a word of optimism and just give us a cuddle. You know, a word,
as you said,
cuddle.
The pain is good. 31 nations are going to feel that pain.
Yeah.
And so it's our turn now.
Yeah.
But
ninth.
Ninth because of the vagaries of the calendar. But
ninth.
Exactly. But there is so much to build upon. The only bad thing, we got to wait another 4 years. We got to start at the beginning of the cycle all over again, and you have to assess it.
Watch out, Antigua and Barbuda.
We're coming for you this time, and you won't score on us in Tampa as you did 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But the reality...
people of Barbuda, they're going to pay for this, Rog.
The Antiguans will get off for that.
They're going to pay for this.
The paradigm has shifted. You're right.
Yeah.
And we just hope that as we just talked to Landon on SportsCenter, and he made the point, Michael Ballack made the point. It's one thing for American football, soccer, to be known for never say die.
Yeah.
Great conditioning, great athletes, but then you need the technical skills. You need the people. You know, you need an Eden Hazard. You need a Kevin Morales.
You need a star.
somebody. Yeah, you need a Fellaini with his head. And we don't have enough technically skilled players.
You need a star and a goal scorer. You need a goal scorer. You need a goal scorer. You need a goal scorer.
Well, give Klinsmann another 4 years. He's maybe find some more.
Quick thing, because you were up near the control room around the studios. There is no truth to the fact that the guy that ran on the field in the first half, that was not Landon Donovan. We didn't get a close look at him.
No, because I just spoke with him. He apparently is in Los Angeles. Unless he has your time machine.
I had a feeling.
Got him down there.
For a second, I thought it's Landon, but
it was not.
Bob, is this sadder than Bruce Springsteen's Nebraska album in 1982?
Wow. It's better produced.
Yeah, well, FIFA, not that we're suggesting that FIFA wrote this tournament, but great writing.
I mean,
Julian Green's goal. I mean,
this is sadder than
that's an amazing piece of writing. Julian Green comes on first touch, scores on a sort of over his shoulder. Wow. But against Courtois, who we should say looked unbeatable. He looks like the size. I said in the opening lineup, he looks like he's one of the characters in the movie The Incredibles. He's just like cut. He's like larger than mortal men. His proportions are all greater. He never has to dive for the ball. He's usually just lunging one way or lunging the other way, and he's got it within his enormous hands.
Still sadder than a Joy Division album.
Wow. Yeah. It's sadder than a Joy Division album.
Well,
we need to get Bob together and we need to listen to some Joy Division. That would be a great.
It's like Joni Mitchell's Blue, Bob.
Yeah,
in your world.
It's a very good.
So how are we gonna? So World Cup tonight. We got to get the energy. We're gonna play.
You guys are coming. Yeah, the show is started over on ESPN, but your hit's a few minutes away. I'm sure. But you gotta think positive thoughts. I think we need to have a team huddle.
We are.
And reflect on the positives.
I'm positive.
So I will leave you to your commiserations.
Thank you.
Adios, amigos.
You're looking good. And, red, white, and blue. I love
that. Always. But you got to clean the panic room up a little bit.
I'm sorry. We will.
We're working on it. We honestly, we just want to go home and leave Brazil right now.
Good. Thank you, Bob Lee.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
Oh, that touch made me feel a little better. So Lukaku creates havoc.
Yeah.
Who comes in to clean up the mess that he'd created? Prince Harry, the half-brother.
He's looking so pink.
Yeah, so
gingy.
Oh, God.
He missed a couple of chances earlier on.
Crushes our dreams again.
The half-brother comes in, and Lukaku skins him down.
Oh, God, I haven't
Besler makes
like
his
that.
big mistake. Lukaku comes down. It goes magic roundabout. There was a little bit of ball watching again from the three defenders, and
I haven't felt that sad since. Honestly,
the little
it was like watching Lady
runs around
Sybil.
them.
It was like watching Lady Sybil pass out of nowhere. That goal. At Free Rucker says, at Men in Blazers, I felt a great disturbance in the force, as if millions of voices suddenly cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there'd be more poor decision-making, more insecurity in the final third. It got to the point where every time the US pushed forward to try and find that equaliser, we looked like the least likely team to score a goal. We were like a dog that was going to choke on a choke chain. They scored again. We thought it was over. We thought we were done. Julian Green runs on. Who read Julian Green his bedtime story last night at Camp
It must
David?
have been one of the Germans. It must have been, I would say, Jermaine Jones. That's who I'd want. If I
think they read him, Das Lorelei
German.
Weiß nicht, was soll es bedeuten, das ist so traurig bin. And then the US turned into like Rocky. We were dead on our feet, but suddenly we were swinging punches, and suddenly it looked like...
And Bradley, tip of the diamond, hit that pass over the top, which he was hitting before the World Cup, Rog, right on the button.
Great finish.
Julian Green.
By the much derided Julian Green. A lot of haters who
go back in the timelines.
Go back and see who hated on that decision. That was quite a finish from a German individual. But the honest truth was, we turned into Rocky.
Here comes Gabby with the tweets.
We turned into the last scene of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Much.
We were coming out with pistols. Bolivian army be damned.
Yep.
We had our chances again. Wando, you will be haunted. Courage, tenacity.
Yeah.
Ultimately, couldn't quite fill the gap where skill and tactics were running thin.
Yeah.
But I have to say, look at it, Davo. Before we get to the tweets.
Yeah.
Despite the defeat.
Yeah.
Despite the defeat, US soccer has experienced, for me, a summer of magic where things will not be the same again.
Yeah.
And I just hope, I think about my own kids who were watching at home, the ones who are not at camp, in their US jerseys, and would actually look at those jerseys, pretty horrifically designed jerseys, but they'll look at them nonetheless.
Oh.
And they'll look at them with pride when they take them off tonight, Dave.
Yeah.
And I don't just mean my kids. I mean millions of kids. And I mean people who are not kids. I mean people who are grown-ups thinking again about this sport. They'll think about the play of Fabian up the wing against Portugal. They'll think about Tim Howard throughout this tournament. They'll think about Kyle Beckerman crushing Raul Morales hair to hair. They'll think about Jermaine Jones's wonder goal, a gorgeous, gorgeous moment. They all think happy
against Ghana,
wonderful. They'll think about John Anthony Brooks. They'll think about Clint Dempsey, 30 seconds. They'll think happiness. They'll think thrill. And I'll tell you, forget the US for a second, but if you read the world's media, how they've covered this team, they've looked at this US team as a squad of darlings who have courageously and tenaciously taken the field. And for me, working on that inside show, Jurgen Klinsmann would always say he wanted this team to take the field against whomever they took the field against and believe they could win. And they have ticked that box this tournament.
Oh, absolutely. More respect definitely shown for the US, despite whatever you read or despite whatever you read on Twitter. There is more respect for this US men's national team internationally than ever before, I would say.
And they've redefined American soccer in their minds and in our minds. They've set expectations higher. But next World Cup, when they're drawn in whatever group, we will not be looked at again as the kind of filler in the group, the third cousins at the bar mitzvah who should just feel lucky to be there. We will be a sharp threat that no one will want to draw.
And yes, everybody should want them to play more possession-based football. Everybody should want them to cut out the defensive mistakes. Everybody should want them to play that sort of attacking, the way they played against Portugal in that second game, Rog. That's what we're looking to as we move forward. But the fact that we're talking about different names, the fact that we're talking about Brooks, about Fabian, about Julian, the fact that we're talking about DeAndre, the fact that we're talking about, you know, a different set of players. It's not just Dempsey and Donovan. Yes, Dempsey was great. Yes, Howard was amazing. Bradley did not have his greatest World Cup. He's still a phenomenal, phenomenal football player.
And an even better human being.
Significantly, the goal that we scored tonight, that goal came from Michael Bradley's pass. But the fact that we're talking about new players, just a lot more strength and depth. Football has changed forever. When I bit into the cupcake on the original Grantland previews, Rog,
it feels like years ago.
By the way, I said that this team will make us proud. Rog, whatever happens, this team will make us proud. The team has made us so proud. I'll tell you what I believe in, which I freely admit I wasn't sure whether I believed or not before we started this. I wasn't sure about Jurgen. I am now convinced that Jurgen is the man for this team, convinced that he's the guy to take us forward and that he knows what he's doing.
We are a team that do not always win, but we're very good at lose-winning. Right, David?
Very good at
lose-winning. Very good at lose-winning. That is the US.
Car
blows your mind, said Paul Carr blows your mind. Say what? Paul Carr blows your mind, said Paul Carr blows your mind.
There's something you have to say at the end of it.
I can't want. Yeah, right. Or something.
You're right.
Okay,
American. Here we go.
Just
yes, Paul Carr.
American.
Thank you. Large banana.
That's a large banana.
Paul, that's how I feel right now.
Yeah. Oh, World Cup of bald men.
That close.
It is. Tim Howard, by the way.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
The World Cup of bald men.
He's the number.
Blow our mind.
He made 16 saves in this game.
We know.
We thought it was 173.
Well, we round down.
Go ahead.
That's the most by any keeper in a World Cup game in the last 50 years, which is as far back as we have records.
50 years. That goes back to 1964. So going back to 1964 is what you're saying, Paul Carr.
More saves, 3 more saves than any keeper has ever made in a game.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he made some great ones. Nothing he could have done about either of the goals.
Not really.
Phenomenal performance.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of shots that he's let in regularly if you watch Everton week by week.
Paul, I have a question. I have a question for you. Is this the first time that all 4 European countries left in the quarterfinals are all basically
surrounding Luxembourg?
Yes, are all basically, you know, France shares the border with Belgium and Germany. Belgium shares the border with Germany and then Holland.
Basically.
They're all connected in one lump. Is this the first time that that's happened, Paul Carr?
That'll take a little bit of research.
Okay, I think we should look into
that. We don't have that in a database,
also,
but I can pull it up.
Land masses.
Why is Luxembourg so crap at football?
Yeah.
They really have no excuse, do they?
Yeah. They better come back.
Yeah.
I think some long, hard thinking of the Luxembourg Football
Association. Yeah, the Low Countries. This has been the World Cup of the Low Countries.
Paul, can you say something that can make the stabbing pain that I'm feeling right now, which is not gout?
We're set up.
Think about gout. Can you make the pain go away?
We're set up for a really good rest of the tournament. This is the first time that all 8 group winners have been in the quarterfinals.
Isn't that amazing? Only the group winners won.
So we're set up for, as good a finish as we think we can have. Costa Rica's kind of a minnow, but other than that, you look at everyone else.
And by minnow, you mean we are all Costa Ricans
CONCACAF!
CONCACAF power! Yeah, we love Costa Rica. I've got to get a Costa Rica flag for this one day.
Yeah, I got a friend who lives down there. Maybe she can send you one.
Yeah. I'd love that. Paul Carr, thank you very much on this sad day, which is a bit like 4 weddings and a funeral.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in, giving us a little cuddle. You're a beautiful man, even though did you feel anything today?
You know what? It was such an emotional day, I did feel a little bit.
Wow,
Can you describe the feeling? Did it feel like you just
Is that like when that episode of Star Trek, The Next Generation, when Data has feelings? Was it like that?
I don't know I don't know what I'm feeling, but I'm feeling something.
Okay, good. Nice. Progress. Thanks so much, Paul Carr.
All right. Thanks,
You blew our mind. Thanks for blowing our mind again. Well, Tim Howard really was the one who blew our mind. I want to say a quick word. We had a lot of jokes with our GFOPs. Thanks, GFOPs. Once again, tremendous job. The content, what you continue to send us, the messages you send us mean the world. But we had a lot of jokes about Belgium and trying to come up with reasons to not like the Belgians. I think we should congratulate the Belgians. That's the sporting thing to do. That's a bloody good football team. Bloody good football team. Some amazing individuals. They really showed me a lot. Vincent Kompany, Vincent Kompany, one of our favourite players in the Premier League, Rog. It's been an amazing season with Man City winning the title, coming off the groin injury, leading that team, did a really phenomenal job. Really enjoyed watching him play football. And I'm going to enjoy watching Belgium play the rest.
And I think Belgium also had a very good game.
He did. Ultimately, he came through. He had a good game. Hazard always looked dangerous. Lukaku came off the bench. Courtois looks like a really, really good keeper. And we should say now, Rog, to wrap up, the quarterfinals are set. France versus Germany. Let's just say there's a lot of history there.
We're going to be talking a lot about the 12-14 battle of biblical courageousness which occurred when it's the only war. ESPN have told us we can speak about any battle as long as it happened before 1700.
There's one particular war which I'm not allowed to mention, which I'm not allowed to talk about, but we will be talking about many other.
We're going to be talking a lot about the 87-year war which happened in 1643.
Brazil versus Colombia and James Rodriguez. Rog, that's going to be a hell of a game of football.
His friends call him Jimmy.
Yeah, Argentina versus Belgium. I think Belgium could take them.
Well, let's a quick word on Argentina. 2 things. Swiss coach Omar Hitzfeld, his brother passed away.
Yeah.
He's 82.
Yeah.
Last night, and he coached the team irrespective, and they were tactically so wonderful to watch against Argentina, who again were not able to take their forward trident and really meld anything. Higuain looked like Benzema, but without any of the good bits.
Yeah.
And once again, Messi, in extra time, had to, almost like Maradona in the 1986 World Cup final, where he knew he was the centre of every defender's focus, and he drew in the defenders and then slipped the ball to the Modigliani-looking Di Maria, who'd had a very bad game.
Yeah.
Until then, Secular said, at Men in Blazers, that was so American by Messi and Di Maria.
Was the World Cup of slow rollers.
Anglers 305 says, other countries have warlocks and witch doctors. Argentina has Pope Francis. They ride again. Still, this has been a World Cup in which even the big teams, the massive powers, Germany, Argentina, Brazil, we know they all have flaws. And not yet, none of them have been able to hide them or even come close to overcoming them. Argentina did not whatsoever today. Everyone is vulnerable. These quarterfinals are going to be great. I'll say, last World Cup, when the US went out, it was like losing a friend too early, like it is today for me in terms of the excruciating pain that I'm feeling.
Yeah.
But 2010, America, the ratings actually grew and grew, even once America had departed South Africa.
Yeah.
And I expect the same to occur this time, David.
We don't expect you to watch in the park. And it actually might be better if you don't watch in the park, because we can get ratings if you watch at home with your mates. Continue to watch this. These are going to be amazing quarterfinals. Finally, Rog, Holland versus Costa Rica. CONCACAF Thunder trying to stop this being the World Cup of low countries, Rog, excluding Luxembourg. Let's finish with a couple of tweets, Rog, from... this is from John Yule Cook at Men in Blazers. Which president should we remove from Mount Rushmore to make way for Tim Howard? A lot of love from Tim Howard, without any doubt. Tim Howard for president. What does Tim Howard say to death? Not today. And lots of great.
I've got to
at
tell
Men in
you,
Blazers. Win, lose or draw. Bravo, US men's national team. Bravo. FIFA script writers. That was from Aaron Smith.
Sad, grave, heaviness, pride, complexity, tenacity, courage, heroes. Didn't see Nordic Messi once. Bit sad about Mix Diskerud not taking the field. Aaron Johansson, I possibly would have liked to have seen him today. Yep. Frustrating, impotent to see Kyle Beckerman, Buffalo Soldier, not have any kind of say in that final game. But these are gentlemen who, there are a lot of question marks. There is an incredible negativity and a self-doubt involved in US soccer. Different. We have self-loathing in England, don't we, David?
Yeah, we own that.
We own that, but there's so much negativity about much in US soccer. There's so much doubting, so much second-guessing, so much, why is Michael Parkhurst not here now? What's the Yedlin doing on the field? Julian Green's coming on. What's he going to do? And I do hope that the one big takeaway, and obviously this is a wound that's going to take a little time to heal, for me anyway, and I'm not sure how you're feeling, but let us know.
Yeah.
But I do hope the big takeaway is not just this mass feeling, this promised land of football, which is apparently blossoming. Yeah. I imagine that we can just pick fruit off any tree and feel satiated. But I hope there's a positivity and the beginning of a self-confidence, not wild optimism, not wild overconfidence, but the beginning of self-love, self-confidence and belief and hope and trust. Weld that to the passion and great things will occur.
When I'm pitching my tent on Copacabana Beach tonight, Rog, and just bedding in for the night with the sound of the waves in the background, I just feel enormously proud of this team and enormously excited about these new players coming through and enormously proud of the effect it's having on young players at home and around the world eligible to play for the United States who are watching this team play and thinking about what they can do next time.
I can play now.
Well, you're going to become a citizen
very
shortly. You've never represented any other nation in football.
I've held off.
Rog, you can get up there. I see you as part of the diamond midfield. I think that would be quite effective. Anyway, as always, with the Men in Blazers, at Men in Blazers, at Rog Bennett, at Embassy Davies. Men in Blazers on Instagram. meninblazers.com is our website, fantastically run while we're away by Dana and JW and Lexi and the whole team back at New York.
Keep sending us your messages. We'd love to know how you're feeling. At Men in Blazers, at Rog Bennett, at Embassy Davis.
meninblazers@gmail.com. Send your ravens or toucans to the crap part of Copacabana Beach. Click all around ESPN FC. It's amazing. So much great content. Read my partner in life and pods writing. I love Roger's writing. The piece he wrote today before the game I thought was beautiful, Rog. And that is it. At ESPN Wando, ESPN3, hashtag Gillette Boot Room, Bob Lee's Panic Room, and so on, and so on, and so on. We move on.
We love football.
No sleep till Russia.
We love America.
Till Russia.
Kung Fu fighting.